Time to die, cancer.
There's so many ways now that a lot of researchers and scientists and doctors are coming up with to fight cancer and heal patients from cancer. There seems to be hundreds, I don't know if there's hundreds, I haven't counted, but it just seems to be so many promising solutions. It's almost a wonder people are still like really dying and suffering from it. One I want to focus on now is actually a cancer vaccine. It's my first time hearing about a vaccine that could address cancer. Usually there's some different kind of treatment. If you've never heard of a vaccine, because of the nature of cancer, it's more or less just your cells reproducing bad cells and creating a tumor. So understanding that, it would seem that it would be difficult to come up with a vaccine solution just because the nature of the disease. It's not a virus, but it's like your own body kind of going awry. There's research in Mount Sinai, New York. Actually, I've seen this solution addressed also in another research institute in Boston. So I'll look at that one as well. This one is in New York, where they're developing a personalized cancer vaccine. They're doing the same thing in Boston. So this personalized vaccine, it sends cancer fighters directly to the areas in the body where the cancer might occur. I don't know if they've communicated. There was another video I did in regards to cancer where there was a process to where your cancer cells were identified, and it helps the chemo only target the cancer cells and not damage the rest of whatever organ or part of the body the cancer is forming at. And it forms like a color. It basically forms a color solution, not a solution, but it colors the cancer cells a different color than the rest of the parts of the body, which is great. It makes the targeting the cancer cells more accurate, and it's a good precision tool to use. I thought this was great. Now imagine that used in combination with this, then you could really target the cells even more accurately. I want to again go back to the cancer fighters. So this is like a customized vaccine. They have to take your blood and analyze your blood and configure the vaccine to your DNA. And they use a computer program to find out where the cancer is most likely to occur. And they can tell this by taking your DNA and analyzing it through this computer program. The early trials of this vaccine showing promise in patients with different cancers like lung cancer, bladder cancer, even liver cancer. The one uncomfortable thing is that you have to take a series of 10 vaccines or 10 shots over some time. That, I guess, it is what it is. It's probably uncomfortable, the fact that you have to take 10 shots. But if it looks this promising, it seems worth it. The shots are taken over a 6-month period, and the outcome they're looking for is for the vaccine to stop the cancer from coming back. And they also add it to chemo and other immunotherapies. Again, I mentioned before, if they utilize the other method of identifying the cancer cells on the body or on the particular body part without affecting the rest of it, this would be a major breakthrough. That was another method. I don't know if these different researchers are communicating. Maybe they have. I assume there are some conferences where everybody comes and shares their findings, and maybe they communicate with each other. I don't know. I've known people that have had cancer, and they've had to go to 2 different doctors in 2 different countries at that, even 2 different states, 3 different countries even. And I guess that's an indication maybe they're not communicating. There should be a way. This is one thing. It's like with all these discoveries and new methods to address cancer, why aren't a lot of these doctors working more closely together? Or why aren't they finding research that kind of, maybe they can couple solutions, right? Solutions that kind of have good chemistry together that can work in tandem. I know they are in this case. They have the shots and the chemo and the other immunotherapies. I'm not a big chemo fan. I guess no one is. But it seems like with some of the more promising, less damaging solutions, you would think that there'll be better communication. But again, I guess it's up to it's a team effort, right, between the patient and the doctor. The patient doesn't know, and maybe the particular doctor he's working with doesn't know, and they have to do their research. And maybe one day there will be a more coordinated effort. But either way, it looks promising, even though we all look kind of like, I don't want to say disorganized, but we're all over the place like a fruit cake, like whatever's inside the fruit cake. It's like we're there, but we're not really there in a coordinated manner. But this looks pretty promising. It's just the fact that after getting 10 vaccines, you can be strongly immunized against cancer, which just is almost like, I haven't heard of this before. It's like being immunized against cancer, because it's like, it's not a virus. It's basically your cells going on haywire. The best part about it is it steers your immune system to focus solely on the specific cancer cells in a specific area without affecting other parts of your body through chemo. And this is again, focusing or targeting specific areas and not affecting other areas is very important, because some people really suffer through chemo because of there being damage in other parts of their body, and I've seen people go through it. It's really frustrating. But I think this is really promising. I'm going to check out a video where it explains it in more detail. It's the other research in Boston. It's a research institute, and I'm going to take a look right now and hear what they have to say in regards to their research.
When Richard Boylan learned he had kidney cancer that was beginning to spread, he never imagined he would be among the first patients enrolled in a study for a personalized vaccine to treat his cancer. He went in for surgery, and scientists started working on his vaccine immediately.
The cancerous kidney went directly to them.
To sequence each individual's tumor, to really examine its DNA and what's different from normal parts of the body, and to specifically target that.
Dana-Farber Cancer Institute's Dr. David Braun is one of the scientists leading the kidney cancer trial, which is supported by Gateway for Cancer Research.
So the idea behind a personalized vaccine is really, can we steer the immune system specifically towards a patient's tumor?
The personalized cancer vaccine, known as Neovax, is paired with a more established immunotherapy drug. It's a first-of-its-kind strategy aimed at improving outcomes for kidney cancer patients who are at high risk of recurrence following surgery. Dr. Braun says think of the immunotherapy drug as something that jump-starts the immune system, and adding in the personalized vaccine allows the immunotherapy drug to focus tightly on the cancer cells.
And the hope is that by adding the steering wheel, this personalized vaccine that targets these DNA changes on a tumor, these neoantigens, we're able to really specifically steer the immune system towards the tumor rather than just releasing the brain.
A lot of shots, a lot of needles over an extended period. I'm not a big fan of needles, but consider the alternative. This is not a problem.
Richard says the treatment wasn't always easy, but for about a year now, he just goes into Dana-Farber every few months for monitoring. He says so far his scans look good. He's been able to enjoy going to the symphony and biking again, as well as spending time with his granddaughter. Dr. Braun says that while there's still a lot more research that needs to happen, these are encouraging first steps.
That was the results, or the example, from the research being done by the Dana-Farber Institute, or Faber Institute. The first one I mentioned before the video was the Mount Sinai research. I don't know if these two institutions are in communication, but maybe they are, maybe not. But I think this shows is really promising. Again, you heard the patient. He doesn't like the idea of shots and needles. That is kind of, it is what it is. I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine. I don't even want to know. But yeah, 10 series of 10 shots over 6 months. But if it's going to help you cure you from cancer and the cancer not come back, then of course it's worth it, right? Even though it's painful. maybe one day it will be less painful. Maybe one day there will be a pill. Who knows? But I think that the research should continue, and they should continue to exhaust all their other options and other avenues, and again, keep finding better ways to get rid of cancer in people. You know what? And also, we should probably find better ways to prevent cancer. This is another thing that we should all look into as far as our diet, the way we live, collectively as a society. There's a reason a lot of people are getting cancer. We're not living correctly somehow, or somehow, I guess it's deeper than that. But we should all look into preventative measures and as well as curing cancer. I think I've talked enough about it, and I just want to thank you for listening, and please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for your time.